Such an interesting webinar series and a very interesting set of speakers. A lot of them quite actively involved in research as well in the field of yoga meditation. As Ramajam mentioned, I'm a public health specialist. I'm a physician, public health specialist. But last few years, I'm venturing into integrative medicine as well, where my interest is to really look into how modern medicine can be complemented with Ayurveda, yoga, meditation. And of course, me being a meditation practitioner and trainer, having absorbed a lot of benefits at a personal level, and all those whom I have trained, I'm also stepping into the research in the field of meditation. I've had very active collaboration with NIMANS as well. And that is where I feel happy to be invited and to be able to share some of my thoughts, perspectives. And let me bring up my slides. Ramajam, I can share the screen, right?
Yes, sir, you can share.
I hope my slides are visible, friends.
Yes, sir, you can go ahead.
Great. I think the idea of sustainable health and well-being is very important and also very close to the heart of some of us in the field of public health and global health. I'm sure you all are familiar with the WHO definition of health. Health is defined as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not just the absence of disease or infirmity. This definition was given a long time ago, post World War II, but it's always relevant and will continue to be relevant. More so in the last 1 or 2 years with the COVID, we have realized that need to address our well-being in a more holistic manner. When you talk about wellness and well-being, it has many dimensions, and it has got intellectual, emotional, spiritual, social, and so we really have to address wellness in a holistic manner. There's a great deal of understand first that we have to have human body and biology, because body and biology is just a part of it. Beyond that, there is mind and many other dimensions that open up. And then human being, we cannot address them at the individual level. They are interconnected at a family level, societal level. So we need to really look at how do we operationalize health and well-being in a very holistic manner. I think that becomes very important. That's one of the fundamental messages of International Yoga Day, World Meditation Day, and all these movements that have started in the recent past. Why well-being is emerging as an important idea even in the scientific community. If you see over the last 150 years, average life expectancy across the world has gone up. There was a time when whole of humanity hardly lived for more than 30, 35 years. Not too distant past, just about 150 years ago. And most common causes of death that time were communicable diseases like malaria, tuberculosis, leprosy, and whatnot, diphtheria. Of course, as we got better at addressing hygiene, got getting vaccines, discovery of antibiotics, the health system started improving, the public health infrastructure started improving. We slowly saw that life expectancy also started improving. So much so that today, average life expectancy across the world is over 70 years. So people are living longer now. But the leading killers of today are not communicable diseases anymore. Now they are replaced by non-communicable diseases like diabetes, hypertension, that lead to eventual complications like cardiovascular, stroke, cancers, mental health aspects, and a whole lot of non-communicable diseases are the leading killers both in the developed and the developing countries. Of course, we cannot forget communicable diseases. Every now and then, communicable diseases also come out as outbreaks, and COVID pandemic, and again contributing to a lot of morbidity and mortality. If we pay attention to the scientific evidence emerging behind both non-communicable and communicable diseases, lifestyles are emerging as very important. Somewhere over the years, when lifestyles, the healthy lifestyles, take a backseat. Risky behaviors, They give rise to non-communicable diseases. We all have it. That's why this chronic disease is also called lifestyle disease. Even look at COVID-19 pandemic. Yes, while virus has its role to play, the human lifestyle itself, you can look at multiple human lifestyle elements that have given rise to both origin and the quick replication and quick translation of this epidemic into global proportions. So, dear friends, lifestyles are emerging as important for the youth, for the elderly, and by and large, for the human populations. Against this background, the global health goals are redefined. Now we have what we call sustainable development goals, where well being also is added as a part of the health agenda. We just don't want to save lives. We also want people to live happily, live healthily, and enjoy high levels of well being and quality of life. So, friends, the need of today is health and well being. That took me to explore this well being and what is the lifestyle that can really address both health and well being in a holistic manner. That's when a few years ago I started this venture of integrating
Talking about youth.
modern medicine, Ayurveda, yoga, and meditation.
This.
All of them have very good lifestyle elements. Modern medicine has a branch in itself called lifestyle medicine. A lot of evidence around how nutrition, physical activity, substance abuse, mental health, and communication, relationships, how they have a role on the health and well-being. And Ayurveda, the Indian age-old system of Ayurveda. In fact, a lot of lessons of public health we can learn from Ayurveda. Ayurveda gives a lot of importance to prevention, health promotion. Even somebody is
He's a
healthy, what are
community
the things that
specialist.
he or she needs to do? What are the dietary aspects? What are the occupational aspects? How to organize a dinacharya, daily regimen? How to organize the ritucharya, seasonal? So, a lot of high-level
His madam's content
prescriptions
also
from
should not
Ayurveda
be
for
most.
people of different types of constitution, different race, different ethnicity, and a whole lot of things. Very, very strong philosophy and its own science there. Yoga, I don't want to talk much about it. There's so much awareness in the distant last few years with the International Yoga Day being observed and a lot of research, high-level research by S. Vyasa, Artfulness Institute, Patanjali Yoga, even the Niman's Integrative Center. A lot of establishment of at the physiological level, at the clinical level, the impact that yoga has on health and well-being. And meditation to a whole lot of studies. I think the Department of Physiology, NIMANS is pioneering a whole lot of meditation studies, how meditation impacts at so many levels. So, in some way, dear friends, my message today is how do we help people organize their living? How do we help people adopt a lifestyle that is more holistic? It should have evidence-based modern medicine elements. It should also have time-tested Ayurveda, yoga, meditation in a very integrated, in a very practical way, as if how it aligns with our 24 bar 7. I think that is something that I have been exploring. In fact, last year I published a book to give this message out as well. I will share those details later for those of you who are interested. So, integrative health and well-being lifestyle is something that I've been advocating. I've been, as I said, I'm a meditation trainer as well. I've been impacting a lot of youth across the world. And this is the message when the youth are still strong, still able, and rather than waiting for getting old or falling sick, if you can really adopt the right lifestyle where the body, mind, and the spirit is functioning at an optimal level, imagine the impact it has on your career, in your studies, in your workplace, the work life balance, and societal productivity at large. And health of the individuals, health of the societies has direct impact on the sustainable well-being of our planet itself. A whole lot of research out there. In some way, the meditation can bring within us the right mindset, right type of thinking, right discrimination, right actions, right behaviors, which will not only help us and our families, our regions, but the whole world. So I do see a great role of meditation yoga to shape the society as well as the planetary future itself. I don't dwell details because I'm sure Dr. Bindu and many other speakers have already dealt with in great detail how meditation impacts health and well-being. We have seen physiological reductions in blood pressure, improving cardiovascular health. There are a lot of studies out there. And mental health issues like stress, anxiety, sleep, and depression. Meditation studies have shown to improve cognition and emotional intelligence. And today we know there was a time when we were relying only on the intelligence quotient. And all the assessments were around IQ only till 20, 30 years ago. But then we realized even people who did well at their these IQ level tests, but when they face the bigger tests in life, at the work challenges in workplaces, challenges in relationships, I think that's where it was not adequate enough. That's where, along with intelligence quotient, the emotional quotient, and these days, when scientists are talking about social intelligence and spiritual quotient as well. So IQ alone is not enough. The recent national education policy for the universities is recommending that we have to have our education systems organized very holistically to address IQ, EQ, and SQ. Yes, we have seen meditation studies in pain modulation, palliative care. Even I have come across many cancer-related projects. While even the best treatments are not able to do its work, but meditation, yoga, whatever is possible can still affect, improve well-being, quality of life, and a lot of studies, scientific evidence coming up thereby. Just want to talk a little bit about this particular study. I was closely involved with NIMANS on this study on specifically heartfulness. What is heartfulness? Is a heart-based Raja Yoga meditation. And last year, we looked at some people who just started meditation less than 6 months, and those who were meditating for a long time. We got them to Niman's lab and looked at how they're performing in terms of their well-being, in terms of their cognition, sharpness in cognition and performance, and what kind of EEG calmer states they're able to reproduce. Very interesting observation, friends. Whether they were newcomers or old, been there for a long time, they were both able to quickly get into calm states. We didn't really see significant differences in being very calm as we saw in the alpha, beta, theta, delta, and other theta waves. So what it clearly shows, artfulness practice in a very short, less span of time should be able to really induce calm states, even among the new, and encouraging the new to really embrace something, because we all get motivated with the results we see. If we can experience calmness, if we can see it affecting in our careers, we get motivated to continue. So this study actually proved that both were able to get into calm states. But in addition, the long-term meditators also reported significant well-being difference. They reported much higher levels of well-being compared to novice meditators. What it said, while each of us enjoy short-term calm states, short-term benefits, when we continue to meditate for longer time, we can enjoy more deeper changes in well-being, in positive thinking, in facing life, its challenges, and in terms of our consciousness, and a whole lot of things. I think we use some standard scales that are used across the world, and it's a very interesting paper. For those of you interested, I'm sure you'll find it interesting. Another study, one of my colleagues, Dr. Jairam, works in the US. He's a physician and a general medicine, internal medicine physician out there. He looked at how heartfulness meditation among his hospital staff, both providers, and who were extremely stressed out, and realized that heartfulness meditation in a span of 8 weeks improved their emotional wellness. It reduced burnout. Very interestingly, it improved the telomere length. Telomere length is a small cap-like structure on the end of the chromosome in our genes, at a cellular level, which indicates the wear and tear, it indicates the immunity, it indicates the aging-related changes. And a short span of time, they were able to witness increase in telomere length. It's quite significant between intervention and control. Goes to say that it does have genetic in terms of body wear and tear and immunity. In these days, the field of epigenetics is opening up, and a lot of studies are showing how meditation can affect health and well-being thereby as well. The same physician also continued a study on sleep. He put about 75 odd people with insomnia who were struggling to sleep and needed medications. But in a span of 6 weeks, more than 75% of them were relieved of the medication. They were able to report good sleep with just artfulness, meditation, and cleaning in particular. So I just want to say that these time-tested practices, which we all believed intuitively, believed through common sense, the science also is accepting and testing and advocating, which is a really good thing, and should give a whole lot of us more confidence to talk about it and help others embrace it as well. And how is it relevant? I know this session also specific to the youth, and India is known for the highest proportion of youth in the population. And in next few years, I think we'll have more than close to half of the population under 25 years. Imagine the impact these youth have on the transformation, on the development of the country. And then very soon, I think people are predicting that our youth ratio is going to overwhelmingly be high, and very soon the productive workforce, the whole world will look up at us to our support, even to run their countries, run their missionaries in many ways. At the same time, we can't shy away from the challenges we see in the globalized world, the career pressure, the peer pressure, the competition, the breaking of this support systems within the families that we had. More and more nuclear families, and more people living in isolation, more and more divorce rates. So some of the health, physical as well as mental health, also has taken a backseat. I know NIMANS has been doing a lot of studies on suicides, and I was also associated on one or two of those studies long ago. And the rate of suicides is on a high, the depression, the addiction, and so unless we really give a lot of thought to this important section of the population and really nurture them, take care of them, and give them the support system that it requires, I think the future can be very bleak. And it's really important that we focus, have a very focused effort to inspire the youth, to help them embrace. And again, the youth communicate very differently these days. Is a time social media communication. No more those autocratic top-down communication works. We have to listen more than these things, and more subtle ways of communication we may have to adopt, more of inspirational way. So I think there's a whole lot of work that there is in both doing as well as the manner of engaging youth. And I also know of NIMAN's efforts, the epidemiology department, on working extensively with the youth section with the government of Karnataka. I know of the Spandana programs and many other interesting initiatives. It goes to say how we can all come together, integrate these bits, and jointly work toward shaping the youth. I think it becomes really important. For the next few slides, I would like to change the tempo of my presentation. I want to keep it more light in terms of some of the benefits that are emerging. I think, especially for the youth, this is specifically to inspire the youth. We're clearly seeing the meditation is actually changing the brain structure. There are improvement in memory, attention, executive decision making, and communication abilities. So, in brain changes, a whole lot of these behavioral changes are possible. The focus, stress relief, and the focus on the goals. In fact, I know Google and many other companies in the US, they look for young brains who think out of the box, who think innovatively. There too, we realize unless the brain, the left and the right brain is harnessed well, and meditation essentially shows these changes to help brain holistically being harnessed. Imagine if we can exploit the brain power fully, the kind of productivity, where does it take us? Of course, mood enhancement, staying very calm, self-centered. When I say self-centered, it's more to centered within oneself, be at ease, be equipoised, balanced. We also realized since I practice heartfulness, heart-based meditation, more I can connect with my deeper self in my heart. I can also connect with my people around, my colleagues, my family members, and it's very my own empathy, my own connectivity, communication, all gets important. Today, the major cause of depression, the feeling of isolation is coming out for the feeling that people are not being heard in, within families, within relationships. within workplaces. There too, I would like to recommend meditation as a great tool both for the employer and the employees. I've done a lot of corporate training programs, helping them embrace meditation. Even in our Rama University, our faculty, our students are going through these programs, and I'm seeing a lot of impact on the individuals and the ecosystem as well. Yes, there are studies are reported, as I said, telomere, the anti-aging, the immune system boosting, improving the cardiovascular health, the basal metabolic rate, and a whole lot of benefits, friends. I think I'm sure we don't have to convince people here as much as we need to do in the West, but these effects are very real these days, and there are a lot of studies reinforcing these results. Coming to particularly to artfulness program, something that I practice myself, and I can talk a little more confidently about this practice because in addition to the research and science, there is my own personal experience backing it. I found this process to be very simple and practical. I started when I was doing my MBBS back home, and I think since then I'm seeing how it has shaped me in the way I think and the way I process. And it is very experiential, especially the artfulness practice. It is backed by what we call yogic transmission, very subtle energy. One can actually experience it, feel it. With a few days of practice, you can see it yourself. And I personally believe, well, there are a lot of systems out there. What is the system that works best for you? You should be able to decide based on the philosophy, the teaching, based on your personal experience, and more importantly, what is your object of or goal of meditation? Depending on these three, I would suggest each of you have to try and test a few finally before finally deciding on what is most compatible to your lifestyle, what is the philosophy, and what is your own expectation. Are you expecting something performance, something as simple as a memory or a performance, or something as high as a spiritual objective itself? And I also found artfulness practice very adapted to the modern life for a family older and for people like us who are into our very busy work settings. It's still beautifully compatible and very universal to all, and it's open to all. In fact, artfulness system with more than 150 countries across religions, and it's open to all people from all backgrounds as well. And of course, we have a very, it's almost more than 100 years old in terms of its established form. It's also called Sri Ramchandra Mission or Artfulness Institute. It's a modified form of Raja Yoga. And currently, there are about 14,000 certified trainers across the world. All of them, in their free time, provide free of charge trainings. Training is completely free of charge. Whoever is interested, they're able to take this training. And training is available virtually as well as in person. In COVID, it's completely gone virtual now. And of course, those of you interested who can definitely look at the website. I have put out on the title www.artfulness.org. Briefly talk about the four cardinal elements of artfulness practice. We begin with what we call a relaxation practice because we realize we can't meditate well unless we are relaxed in body and mind. A simple relaxation technique helps us. I will give you a practical experience in a few minutes. And then we meditate. Here we meditate on the heart. While there are so many objects we can choose, in artfulness philosophy, we believe my highest self is within my heart, is within my core of my being, my center. My mind that is here, if it is not centered, connected with my heart, it is on its own. That's why mind goes like a wave all over the place. But like a ship, when it reaches the harbor, when it is anchored, the ship or the boat can stay there. So mind needs to be anchored with the higher self within. That's the philosophy of artfulness meditation. The simple technique to rest the mind here and help the mind stay connected throughout the day. What we have seen with regular practice, this connection becomes very permanent and we can manage to stay very calm, very composed through the day and night as well. The third one, as I said, the rejuvenating. We also believe each of us are so busily engaged in our world. We gather impressions, we gather residue. Let's say I had exchange, emotional exchange with my colleague, it leaves a certain impression or residue. It settles in the subconscious and becomes ardent as we go by. And many of the childhood impressions become set patterns. It induces a set way of thinking and it modifies our personality. So, here in artfulness philosophy, at the end of every day, we clean ourselves, our mind. We remove those impressions the same day itself before we go to sleep. So, mind is really cleansed and rejuvenated. And I realized this is a very, very critical. Only meditation is cannot take us for too long, but when you complement it with cleaning, I think it is far fetched in terms of its results and the prospects. The fourth technique which we practice at the end of the day and almost about to go to sleep is a connection with the deeper self. A simple technique, a guided technique, helps one to connect more deeply within, and then we go to sleep. And we realize the quality of sleep also goes up. And the studies, as I said earlier, have proven. So these are the four initial aspects of basic artfulness practice. The meditation itself is fueled by what we call yogic transmission, the subtle energy that guides us, helps us get to a very deeper samadhi, deeper, calmer states of being very early in our meditations. For more details, you can visit the artfulness.org website. There's also an online application available called Hearts app, HEARTS app. There we can find a lot of information, very interesting audio, video lectures as well. With that, friends, my idea today was really, I thought this theory session should also be backed by at least 10 15 minutes of brief, what do you say, practical session. And probably after that, for 10 minutes, we can even have a Q&A session. That's what I had in my mind, Ramajam. If you permit, I would actually thought we can go through a brief session of a practical relaxation and a meditation experience. Are we all good to go, Ramajam?
Sure, sir. I think we can have a brief meditation, then go for Q&A.
Okay. Then last 10 minutes, I would be happy to take some Q&A as well. Great, friends. I think, as I said earlier, there's a lot of understanding that meditation means concentration. Not really, actually. Concentration is one of the states of mind, but meditation itself is much, much beyond that. And more so, a lot of youth equate meditation to concentration and get disappointed in the very beginning that with just 1 or 2 days or even the 15 minutes of meditation, I was not able to concentrate. The first myth I would like to clarify, in meditation, we don't try to concentrate because in concentration, there is pressure. We are forcing a mind to do something. But the meditation is not that. Meditation is to really relax. And we have to really, idea is to rest the attention, mind on the heart. That is the main, I can say it's the definition of meditation, to rest the mind on the heart. But it won't happen all of a sudden. First, body and mind should be relaxed. So I will guide you through a relaxation technique briefly and then guide you through the meditation technique. And then after that, we will again revisit. I'll be happy to take some questions. Before we begin, I would request you to check your phones and keep them in silent mode so that for next 10-15 minutes, you aren't disturbed. Sit in a comfortable position that you are comfortable with. You can either sit on a cross-legged if that is comfortable, on a sofa or a chair with the feet on the ground, perfectly fine. Choose something that is very simple and easy. Close your eyes. Breathe easy. Bring your attention to your feet. Feel the energy from the Mother Earth entering your body through the feet. Feel the relaxation in your feet. Your ankles, calf muscles are relaxing. your thighs, feel the relaxation in your back muscles, your abdomen and chest are relaxing. Your shoulders are melting away. Your arms and the forearms are relaxing. As energy passes out, feel the relaxation in the fingertips. Bring your attention to your neck muscles. They are relaxing. Your face, scalp, they are relaxing. Whole of your body from head to toe is completely relaxed like never before. Slowly, let's go inside. Bring your attention to your heart. Your heart is filled with divine light, and you're drawn to the source of the light, which is already within your heart. Slowly, you move toward that center, that source within your heart. Connect with it and stay there. And enjoy this connection. If you're being drawn inside, being absorbed inside, just go with the flow. If your attention slips out due to some thoughts or noise, ignore them and go back to the heart and try to be there as gently as possible for the next few minutes till I ask you to open your eyes.
How much is the minimum time for meditation? Ma'am is ready. I have made a co-host.
Slowly come back to the present moment. Keep your eyes closed. Observe how you feel inside, in your heart, and also your head, the body. Observe the change you felt as a result of meditation. Make a note of the change mentally, or if you have meditation journal, I would definitely recommend, often encourage youth in all my training sessions to maintain a journal and constantly observe and document. That's what gives us motivation to sustain practices like this for long. And that was a brief experience of heartfulness meditation. And yes, generally the system has a 3 days of training. First session, we introduce relaxation meditation. We take them through this process. Second day, they're exposed to rejuvenation, a very vital process, and followed by meditation. Third day, the third technique, connecting with oneself. Of course, we have one session. The idea was to just give a glimpse for those of you who are interested to know more and pursue the 3 sessions. You're most welcome to connect online, and you could visit the website that I shared earlier. You'll get more information. And I also pass on through the chat on some more resources as well. That essentially was it, and maybe we have about 15 minutes time and we can have some interaction now. I'll be happy to take some questions.
Thank you very much, sir. That was very short but indeed a sweet and informative session. I think all the people would have enjoyed the final hands-on experience session as well. I personally feel the message is like we have enough information today because Google alone is more than enough for us. It's time for us to start the practice. Unless we practice, we cannot use it as and when it is required because it's the time which is demanding us to use these technologies. Only then we can integrate. Thank you very much, sir. There is
Very well said, Ramajay. I think the practice is what we have a lot of information. It's practice and self experiencing oneself, I think, is really important. Very well said. Yes.
yeah. So there is one question, sir. How much is the minimum time for meditation?
I think there's no fixed set. It all depends from person to person. To begin with, what we generally encourage at least 30 minutes because even body requires, I'm sure first of those of us who meditate for the first, even body doesn't cooperate, hands become restless. Biology also is not trained, then our mind also is not trained. So in the beginning, first 10-15 minutes goes into just adjusting the body and mind. At the same time, we can't sit for too long if some of us are meditating for the first time. So I would suggest start simple and easy, 20 minutes to 30 minutes at least, make it an habit to sit. But before that, see how best you can find a good place for yourself, which can be earmarked for meditation. Find the right time, fix a time. Doesn't matter whether you're an early riser or late riser, but fix a time and continue regularly. And then fix a position, posture, how you want to sit. At least 20 minutes to 30 minutes to begin with. But gradually you see you'll start enjoying it and you can easily sit for longer and longer durations of time. When you reach that state, I would suggest you can go up to 1 hour. In Artfulness, we prescribe not more than 1 hour. That's really good enough. If you feel like doing again, if you have more time, you can give a break and again do it. But generally, in my experience, last 25, 30 years, I've been doing for about 20, 30 minutes in a given day. But it is sky is I think the kind of effects in terms of its effect on the state of mind, in my communication, in my interactions. They almost become fairly permanent. I'll tell you why it happens so. Because mind is very easy to be trained. It needs a simple practice. As when the mind is brought in connection with the heart, when I say the heart, not the physical, but your real heart, yourself, your inner self. The moment mind connects, mind becomes peaceful. I'm sure those of you today, even for a few minutes when the mind was connected, you felt peace. You felt light. You felt in harmony, isn't it? That is the power of connection, dear friends. That's why for me, the object of meditation of the heart is very, very profound, both in philosophy and science. I'm pursuing both actually. But if you regularly practice and if this mind becomes permanently connected, even the need for meditation drops. There comes a time after a few years, you don't need to meditate because your mind is permanently connected and you're permanently in a meditative state. Let's say even momentarily for a few minutes, seconds, it gets disturbed. Few minutes you close and reconnect. So my inspiration, my suggestion is In the beginning, let us invest at least 30 minutes. Maybe with few months and years, you can reach a fairly permanently connected state. And I pray and wish it happens at the earliest for more and more of.
Thank you, sir. There are a few more questions. Would you like me to read, or you can see for yourself?
I can
Yeah.
see for sure. I heard about the question on pranavati, right? This is a pranavati provides equilibrium in self easily, a simple technique.
Yeah.
So somebody sharing their experience of yogic pranavati or transmission. Thank you very much for your compliment. Quite a few have said they had good experience. Some have asked for the website. I will share the details of the website. And wonderful experience. Share the website. Good to know. Quite a few of them have had very good experience on the very first. That is heartening to know. I'll just share the website and particular link for the app. It's a very nice application. Through that, you can connect to trainers all over the world and virtually round the clock, right? Let's say even in the midnight, you're disturbed, you don't feel like sleeping, something happened during the day, and you feel like you can connect and do a session. The app also has many, whatever guidance I gave for relaxation, meditation, like there are videos for that as well. You just play the video and go, and you learn quickly and you can experience as well. That's something that you can certainly explore. I don't see any other question, Ramajam. Unless you have seen, I have missed. Feel free to add, Ramajam.
Yeah, I think in the general chat it is there. So some of the things has been shared to you privately, it seems. How to
Okay.
channelize thoughts flowing during meditation?
How to channelize thoughts flowing? Very good question. Friends, my response to that is thoughts are a very natural part of us. They are a part of us. They are not separate. So a mind, its nature is to think. That's why when we sit in the beginning, here I can have a lot of thoughts. But that's why we say mind has a very powerful ability to ignore itself, actually. So, because mind has other faculties, those thoughts are there here, but you can attend to something else in the heart rather than attending to the thoughts. I'll give an example. Let us say you are paying attention to me. It's a dog that is barking behind you, or there is something, some noise in the kitchen there. But you don't pay attention to that because you are very absorbed in my thought, let us say. Friends, mind can work like that. Thoughts will be there. You don't attend to that. Just pay attention to her. And the transmission will help you get absorbed and go deeper and deeper inside. So, what do we need to do with the thoughts? Don't do anything. Just ignore. Just don't attend to it. That's the only practice we do in the beginning. With few sessions, we will learn how to ignore. It's also a practice. We can't ignore straight away. But while repeatedly ignoring and coming to the heart, every time a thought comes, you ignore and come back to the heart. Gradually, your mind is already being trained to ignore the thought. And your mind is being trained to go inside. And the transmission does the rest. And over a period of few days, you see that your mind is staying here. Even today, most of you experienced some moments of silence, moments of peace. What does it mean? Not that thoughts were always here, but your attention was here. If your attention comes back here, again you feel thoughts. But when you come here, you'll feel the inner state. So, friends, the mind is a continuum. One side there are thoughts. Deep within the mind has got a beautiful, blissful state, a state of peace, state of balance, state of harmony. They're already there inside. Rather than attending to the thoughts, you attend to the inner state. That's how I look at it. And it really, over a period of few days, you will experience that as well.
Somebody has raised a hand. You can just ask your question, please. It would be good if you can switch on your video as well. Norem Singh, if I'm right.
Meanwhile, I've also put one more link in the chat. The book I was referring to, the Integrative Health and Wellbeing Lifestyle, where how modern medicine in Ayurveda, the yoga and mindfulness meditation come together. It's available on Amazon both as a Kindle version as well as a print version. Those of you who would like to explore more, you can take a look at that as well.
Yeah, I think there are no more questions. So somebody raised a hand, but I don't think they are willing to ask the question now.
No, no problem.
Yeah. So thank you very much, sir, for being with us, taking time, and thanks for the informative session.
And thank you, Dr. Ramajan, Dr. Bindu Kuti, for organizing and inviting me here. And just to recap before I sign off, dear friends, today, few things that we discussed is how the health and well-being across the world is changing and paradigm shift is happening. There's a need to address health and well-being more holistically, not just physical or physiological level, but more deeper emotional, more deeper spiritual level. That's where the lifestyle that is all encompassing becomes important. Particularly the youth, there's opportunity for us to revisit our lifestyles. And when I say youth, not just youth, I think we seniors also have to do it from the forefront. And when we do it, the youth that are seeing us will get inspired. And often parents talk to me, how do we change our kids? Unless we change first, they cannot. Even the teachers, faculty, unless we change, our children won't. So both for us as well as the youth, revisiting the lifestyles, making it more holistic. We can start with simple changes. Start with meditation. And when you look at meditation, you're strengthening your mind, you're strengthening your willpower. Slowly, you can organize your lifestyle also very well. And when it comes to meditation, today we went through a practical experience of heartfulness meditation. It has four elements: the relaxation, the
He has to
meditation,
unmute himself.
rejuvenation, or also called cleaning, and the deepening the connect.